When you feel like you're nothing, but you wanna be something. Yeah, well, all you really need is hope. I just want you to trust me if you wanna be something.
That's right. Let's go. Yeah, when you're feeling down and you're out, like you got nothing but doubt, you're alone in the crowd, just trying to figure it out. All of this cloud and this money got you feeling left out. Listen up to me now, every word that's out of my mouth. Wake up, it's me. You're gonna follow your dreams, or are you just gonna be another cog in the sea? You feel the hope in this beat, yeah, the hope that you need to proceed and be exactly what you want it to be. I feel right and I'm proud, hype and I'm loud. I'ma shout all about how I feel in the now. Ain't nobody ever gonna try to change me till I'm dead, pushing up daisies. I'm alone in the crowd, I won't feel down. I got hope right now, and I know I'll be found. I don't really care just what all other haters gotta say. I know everything I do is gonna make them fade away.
And when you feel like you're nothing, but you wanna be something. Yeah, well, all you really need is hope. I just want you to trust me if you wanna be something. Yeah, then all you really need is hope.
Let's go. Yeah, it's what you need when you're down, need when you're out. It's what you need when you're sad and when you feel left out. You feel an energy drought and then creeps out, but with a little bit of hope you can figure it out. Keep your head high even when you're down inside. Through the pain you fight and through the painful nights you keep striving, keep trying, keep driving, rising, keep thriving, surviving. Nothing's in your way but yourself. Don't need nobody's help. You can make it through this hell. Take it one step at a time, one step as you climb. If you fail, you'll be fine. Get back up to the grind and never lose sight of your mission. Be driven. This life is a prison if you don't have vision. You're in it to win it, so get it, don't miss it. Your chances now, so be something somehow. Don't let yourself down, 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 down. That's right. Sometimes all we really need is hope.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. How are you? How's everybody doing? Hi, Ringo. Hi, Jersey Lady. Hi, Ramblin'. Good evening, Roberta. Hi, Raz. Hi, Music City Mom. Ramblin', I think we're going to have to get rid of your phone. It seems like every time that I go live lately, you have a phone call. We're going to have to do something about that. It's no longer acceptable. No more excuses with phone calls. No, I'm just kidding. Hi, Roberta. How are you? So, guys, I wanted to do a live kind of before the live. Lokamaya and I are going live in 40 minutes about Elijah, about Caleb Harris, about the murdered moms in Oklahoma. And we're going to do in-depth discussions about those 3 cases, as well as a few other missing cases. But before we get into that live, I did want to come live and talk a little bit about Madalina Kojakari. Put a 1 in the chat if you already know who Madalina is, more than just a flyer on my intro, more than just me showing her face here continuously. Curious how many of you guys already know about her disappearance. Madalina is now 13 years old. She just had her birthday on April 11th. We did miss getting to cover her birthday. She is still considered missing from Cornelius, North Carolina. And so I'm curious how many of you guys already know about her case before we get into this. And hi, Sleaze. How are you? Hi, Shauna. Hi, Jess. Welcome, welcome, you guys. Okay, so a few of you guys know who she is already. That's good. That's good. This is one of those cases that whenever she first went missing, a lot of speculation, a lot of back and forth about what could have possibly happened. Really, we have no more answers from police now than what we had the day that she went missing. Similar to how we're seeing in many other cases. And it just really, honest to goodness, it's just so many questions, and I wish I had better answers. You still think mom is hiding her? Yeah. Well, let's get into some of these details so that we can take a look at that. One of the things that we can look at is this timeline. Somebody made this flyer a while ago whenever her case was first circulating. I show it up occasionally because it does give a brief general overview of the timeline on her case. So on November 23rd at 10 p.m. is when Madalina was said to have went to her room, according to her mom, Diana. At that point, mom Diana argues with stepdad Christopher, according to what they told police, and they have not seen Madalena since that moment, allegedly. November 24th was Thanksgiving Day. Christopher drove to see his family, to his family's house in Michigan. On November 24th at 11:30 a.m., Diana said that she realized that Madalena was missing and that she was not in her room. But at that point, she did not report her missing. She, I guess, presumed that Madalena was with Christopher. Christopher presumed, according to him, that Madalena was with Diana. November 26th, however, Christopher returns home at 7 p.m. and he tells Diana that he doesn't know where Madalena is. Diana didn't report the girl missing, even still at that point, worried that things would spark conflict between her and her husband. Based off of the relationship that she has described, Chris was kind of oppressive, and it must be a Christopher thing based off of other cases that we're looking at now, come to think of it. But essentially, she made it sound like as if she could have been a battered woman type syndrome or something along those lines, to where she was afraid to upset Christopher and confront him about Madalena being gone. Hi on the rocks in the soil. How are you? So on December 12th, the school resource officers did attempt a home visit of Madalena. She had been absent at that point since November the 21st. Your sister, she lives kind of close to this area, told me about her case a couple months back. We both feel something is way off with mom. Yes. Yeah, it's another stepdad, Chris, another one, right? So how about that? So the school resource officers did go to the house. The last video that we've seen of Madalena was a video of her getting off of a school bus on November the 22nd. It was the last time she was seen. Diana went to the school on December the 14th, and she met with school counselors. When she went to go see the school counselors, she revealed at that time that Madalena had been missing since at least November the 23rd. When she was reported missing, the officers obviously met with Chris and Diana, and December 17th, they were both arrested for failure to report the disappearance of a child. Now, since this happened, Christopher is now out on bond and he was released from prison. Mom has refused her court appearances so far. This is from 1 month ago. Mom has refused her court appearances. And let's watch this video. I think there's probably going to be an ad.
Jay Allen, we're committed to making your.
So the thing with this case that's really a head scratcher is mom is a mail order bride. Some things that we haven't heard before. Mom is a mail order bride. She allegedly went to the mountains with Madalena sometime around the time frame that Madalena went missing. Police have asked for anybody who had seen her vehicle and Madalena in the mountains around that time frame. There have been reported sightings of Madalena, alleged sightings. No confirmation of Madalena with people that are believed to be family members of mom. One of the uncles specifically. She had also reached out to one of their cousins, I believe it was, and asked them for assistance to get Madalena away from Chris, essentially, and to hide Madalena, to get them out of the country, things like that. And so there's a very real possibility that Madalena could have been taken and hidden by her mom in a different situation. And so there's a very good possibility that Madalena could be alive out there somewhere and that she needs to be found so that we can figure out what's going on in this case and so that she can be located and put somewhere safely. Now, the other side of things is, around the same time of her disappearance, they had burnt furniture. They had a fire outside and they burnt furniture. They had a lot of weird things happening. For example, the fact that neither of them reported her missing. His awkward trip to Michigan around that same time frame. There's also chances of foul play. Police have gone through this house with a fine-tooth comb. They have removed evidence from this home. There's also a situation where there could be drugs involved. Yeah, she was also busted with drugs in the jail. There's a lot of ins and outs to this case, and it's just a head scratcher. We honestly, any theory could be possible in this situation. Her parents could have unalived her mom and her stepdad, Chris. It could have been just mom. It could have been mom hiding her. It could have been all kinds of different scenarios. And we just honest to goodness, do not know who's looking for this girl. The police department, her extended family is looking for her. Well, some of her extended family, I guess I should say, is looking for her. And then, of course, her school is what initially reported her missing. So let me pull this back down so we can take a look at this video. So again, this is from 1 month ago. This is about her mom refusing her court appearance. So we'll see what this has to say.
Arraignment of Diana Kojikari.
She is the mother of Madalina Kojikari, the missing girl from Mecklenburg County. Diana Kojikari due in court today, but chose not to show up. She was supposed to be there for an arraignment on charges that she failed to report the girl missing, but she refused to go into the courtroom, and the hearing was adjourned almost immediately.
Our Jason Puckett was there this morning. He's live outside the courthouse tonight. Jason, you spent the day talking with experts about this no-show. What did they say?
Well, Molly and Jamie, I was there in the courtroom this morning with about a dozen other members of the media waiting for Diana Kojikari to show up. And just like many folks at home, when she didn't, we were left wondering, what does this mean?
Is this like extremely quiet for you guys? Because it feels extremely quiet to me. Let me move it. Maybe I'm just so used to stuff being audio boosted now that it's like affecting my own hearing. But let me audio boost it. Because it seems like really quiet.
Court schedule showed Diana Kojikari set for an in-person arraignment Friday. But when the hearing began, she wasn't there.
Defendant chooses not to come, can't force her to be here.
Judge Donald Curitan walked into the courtroom. Kojikari's lawyers asked him to, quote, take no action. And 2 minutes later,
I guess we will adjourn this hearing.
Honestly, it's confusing and vexing.
Attorney Beth Green is a former prosecutor. She's not part of this case, but was willing to help us break down what happened.
My knee-jerk reaction is that her attorneys had negotiated a favorable guilty plea on her behalf, a favorable plea arrangement with the state, and she changed her mind.
Green explained it's perfectly legal for a defendant to change their mind about entering a plea, but thinks the defense counsel was likely surprised by the timing.
Had they known that she was going to change her mind and refuse to come to court, there's no doubt in my mind they would have alerted the court personnel, the judge, as well as the prosecutor's office. They would not have wasted everyone's time had they known.
After more than a year behind bars, Kojikari was expected to enter a plea, and there was a possibility of getting out of jail on time served.
So I think any of us reasonably would be like, why wouldn't you want to do that? But, perhaps she's scared. Perhaps there's a circumstance out there in the case, in the investigation that none of us know about that's causing her to be fearful.
Green also said,
So I'm going to stop right there and talk about that thought for a second, because we're in a situation where there has been a lot of speculation about Chris and this alleged crime ring that he potentially got her involved with. Like, she has made reference multiple times throughout this case, and you can look back through other videos that I've covered, because we are just doing kind of a brief overview during this video. But she has made multiple references about, them being in danger because of things that Chris has got her involved with. And now here she is with a chance to get out of prison, and she's refusing to show up for court and gonna be staying in jail now. And so it really makes you wonder, like, is she really this terrified of him? Is she really this terrified of Chris or whoever? Like, where did she hide Madalina, and why? What is going on in this whole dynamic? If she hid Madalina, and if not, if there was some type of foul play situation at this point, if either of them knew that the other person unalived Madalina, I feel like they would have told on each other at this point. And so this is one of those cases where I really, truly, honestly believe that Madalina has the chance still to be safe and alive somewhere. It's just a matter of where. Like, it just threw me off, though, that she refused to show up for court.
it's important to remember that outside the legal process, there's still a very human decision being made.
If she, in fact, was going to plead guilty and say, as a mother, I failed my child. I mean, there's still an admission of guilt that she has to emotionally and mentally get through to stand up in court.
So what happens next is the big question, and Green speculated that right now those defense attorneys are likely meeting with Kojikari to figure out if she still wants to go forward with this arraignment or not. Then they will meet with the DAs to figure out how they can line that up. So far, no word on when that might happen. We'll, of course, bring you the updates when we do have them. For now, you're live at the court.
So far, no updates still. But here is the update from the police for her 13th birthday. So let me show you guys this. And the reason that I put the title the way I did, because the question remains the same. In every single one of these cases, we are sitting here scratching our heads, trying to figure out where in the world these children have gone. Every single one of them, there's no true indication. Is there foul play? Isn't there foul play? How did they disappear? Did they just run away? Did they just vanish? Are their parents involved? And we have no freaking clue. And it's just, honest to goodness, a head scratcher. It just really is.
To find her.
Holding on to hope to find a missing girl from Cornelius. Today is Madalena Kojikari's 13th birthday.
And it is.
So this is her last video of her getting off of this bus this day. Hi, Cray Cray. You hope some nice Amish people have everyone. Yeah, weird where and why, right? If the Amish people had everyone, I would know, Cray Cray. They're everywhere around here. I would be seeing people left and right.
It's been almost a year and a half since she was last seen getting off her school bus. This was right before Thanksgiving in 2022. Her parents were later arrested, charged with failing to report her missing in a timely manner. Today, the Cornelius Police Department, the agency leading the investigation into her disappearance, is holding a vigil in honor of her 13th birthday.
I honestly wish that they could do this with more missing families. Like whenever the children turn out to be missing and there's no way to find them, if the parents haven't reported them, to have them be held accountable or held on bond, whatever, until the child is found or presented. We've seen that in the Vallow Daybell case where they were able to hold them, telling them to present the children, and they couldn't. I wish they could do the same thing here. She's in a situation now where she could be getting bail. He's already out walking around. And then we're sitting here still left wondering, where is this missing child? Right? Like, present the kid. I wish that was the thing.
WBTV's Mary Calkins has been following this case from the very beginning. She's joining us live in studio this morning. And Mary, you sat down with the chief of police to see where the investigation stands.
Yes, Mary, Alex, the chief of police in Cornelius, tells me that agency, along with the SBI and the FBI, are working this case as diligently today as they were when this all started more than a year ago. Now, pictures of Madalena have been posted at the police department since she first disappeared, and the chief says they will remain until she comes home. How close do you feel that we're getting to finding out where Madalena is?
I feel like every day we're just a little bit closer than we were the day before. This has just been a long, grueling investigation over the last 15 months, 16 months or so. But, as the pieces of that puzzle that I spoke about kind of come together, I do feel like we'll find her.
It has been more than 500 days since Madalena Kojikari was last seen. In December 2022, a counselor and a school resource officer at Bailey Middle School began questioning Madalena's whereabouts after she stopped showing up to school. When her mother failed to bring Madalena to a meeting at the school, police got a search warrant for the family home. This revealed personal items of Madalena's, like clothes and a backpack, were missing, and Madalena nowhere to be found. That led to the arrest of Madalena's mother, Diana Kojikari, and her stepfather, Christopher Palmer. That was nearly a month after anyone last saw Madalena. Both were charged with failing to report the little girl missing. Palmer was in jail until he posted bond in August of last year. Diana Kojikari is still behind bars in Mecklenburg County today. Both remain tight-lipped about where Madalena may be.
Has that created an obstacle for the investigation, have you found?
It certainly has. That certainly makes it more difficult in any investigation, not only this one. We would have preferred to have their assistant from the onset helping us find her.
But, you know, we've worked through that and worked around it and used other means to continue our investigation.
Now, like I said, they searched their house. They pulled evidence from the home. They were pretty clear that there was some type of foul play right from the beginning, right? We had a situation where they were pretty upfront about the parents not cooperating. This is where I get frustrated in other cases, because you have cases like this where the police give us the information and tell us like, hey, you know, this is the way our investigation is heading. But at the same time, it still ends up not being enough. Like, I still wish we knew more, like as far as what they're thinking could have happened. But I honestly, God, think they don't know.
Still, Chief David Baucom says the department has investigated hundreds of tips that have flooded them since Madalena's disappearance. He hopes anyone with information, no matter how small, will come forward.
It may seem insignificant to you, but it may be that one piece of key information that we need that locks everything else together.
And the Cornelius community is keeping Madalena's name and face at the forefront of their minds, gathering once again on Madalena's birthday to pray for her safe return. This year, the police department is asking the community to drop off birthday cards at the police station to be read during Thursday's vigil.
My hope would be that we would find Madalena and we could have her there at the public gathering, of course.
And that vigil in honor of Madalena's 13th birthday, that is happening tonight at the Cornelius Police Department. It's happening at 7 o'clock. And of course, the chief of police tells me anyone with information, again, no matter how small, is encouraged to contact the Cornelius Police Department.
It's hard to believe it has been 15 months at this point, but I think we're all just wanting to know and hoping and praying, like you said, for her safe return.
And kudos to the chief. I've been up to that police department a few times in the last couple of months, and they keep that case at the forefront. There's always signs outside of the building, and they are dedicated to finding her. Mary, thank you for your reporting.
Absolutely. And of course,
I agree with this, Delana. I agree with this completely, because why not report her missing if they don't know what happened? And so that's where, so whenever mom is saying like, oh, she thought Chris had her, and then Chris came home and he was like, oh, you know, I thought mom had her. That's where my red flags go up, because did she hide her that quick while he was on his trip to Michigan? And if that's the case, how were there sightings of them? Let me see if I can pull up the flyer that the FBI had put out about let me see. Here it is. So it's not the flyer itself, but this one talks about her wanting her to escape. And so this is the police started putting out this photo and a picture of the car and stuff like that, asking for anybody who had seen it around, let's see. Let me see if they put the date. So they're asking for information about them being in the area from February 13th and February 14th. And so you're looking at, I mean, that's a pretty hefty time gap. Wait, no, that's from the search warrants. Hold on. No. Okay, last confirmed sighting from the 21st to the December 15th is the day that she was finally reported missing. Where is the information about the Prius? Hold on. There's a different date. Sorry. I still have my throat is still yucky sometimes. Here's a better article about it. Okay, so police were looking for witnesses in Madison County. So this is a little distance. I think it was like 2 hours whenever we looked it up or so away from where she initially went missing. And so they were looking for information about her being in Madison County, North Carolina, sometime between November 22nd and December 15th. They're saying that the trip may be connected to the girl's disappearance. And so this is what we were talking about with the whole line of thought of, did she take her and drop her off with someone? So I'm trying to find a cough drop. I know I have one sitting here somewhere. And so it says it's a 3-week period between when Madalena was last seen and when she was reported missing, a gap in the timeline that's critical to the ongoing investigation. Says we have some evidence that she was spotted or that her car was spotted in this area. It's not immediately clear what the nature of the trip was. From an investigation standpoint, they're trying to get as much movement as possible. Cell phone records and all of that will help track that where the mother was and where the father was during those particular hours. And so they started releasing that information, like that they had been seen up in that area. They were seeking. And so okay, so you go back to, did she, whenever he left to go to Michigan to go see his family, did she take Madalena somewhere and send her away? Did she move her to where she felt was going to be somewhere for safekeeping? I mean, I honestly don't know. But then you go to the aspect of they were burning the furniture. They were getting rid of like evidence inside of their home. Shortly after all of this happened, the neighbors were reporting like the fire outside and stuff. And so if there was no foul play on Chris's side of things, where did she go? And if there was no foul play on Chris's side of things, why did he also not cooperate with police? Why did he also not report her missing? Is it just because it wasn't his kid? I mean, it was Diana's daughter, not his. I mean, he's her stepfather, sure. But if she told him that that Madalena was with a cousin or with family or something along those lines, would he have just accepted that? And if that's the case, why wouldn't that have been the story that he told to police? Because that's not what he told police. And so I don't know. It's just it's a lot of question marks and it's a lot of red flags. And I don't know. It's red flags everywhere. Right. We're running out of fabric with all the red flags in all of these cases. You can't possibly make any more because it's just red flag after red flag. Hi, B Tim. Yeah, who burns a couch? That's toxic. Yeah. Well, especially whenever your daughter just first goes missing. I don't know. So this case though, it's continues to be baffling. We continue to have no answers. She's over 500 days missing. And I brought this up in conjunction with Sebastian's case because we are in the same type of situation in Sebastian's case, in my opinion. We are in a situation where we really have no answers. We have more questions than what we have answers in Sebastian's case. And it bothers the crap out of me because we have nothing concrete to go on. Literally every theory is a possibility in his case at this point. And there was a news article that came out 21 hours ago. Tomorrow at some point, we are going to watch the live stream together where Seth, some of his private investigators that he has brought on is we're live on oh goodness, what was it called? Investigating the Investigators, or what was it called again, BC? I can't even think of it. Surviving the Survivors, Investigating the Investigators. What was I even thinking? I don't know. So we're gonna take a look at that interview that the Surviving the Survivors people did with some of the private investigators that are on this case now. But here it is. The sheriff's office is officially confirming that he has at least 2 private investigators that have made contact with them. Now, at one point, I do believe he had an interview where he said that he had made contact or had 4 that were assisting in the case. Now, I don't know how many of these are investigators that he has paid for. I don't know if they are investigators that have volunteered their time. I don't know how they came about or what type of information that they're getting for him in the case, but I'm glad that they're communicating and working with the sheriff's office at this point. I know, sit there and laugh at me. Yeah, no answers, only more questions. It continues to go to like, why are we still stuck at the same point? And I don't want to be 500 days down the road. I don't want to be 1,000+ days down the road, still asking the questions that we're asking in Summer Wells' case, or in Sebastian's case, or in Madalena's case, because any theory is possible. Any thought process is possible. And it's
months-long search for missing 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers.
The Sumner County teen was last seen at his Hendersonville home at the end of February. He's been missing ever since. News 2's Mai Owens is at the WKRN.com alert desk with these new details. Mai.
Well, Bob Haley, we have confirmed Sebastian Rogers' biological father has now hired 2 private investigators to look into his son's disappearance. Now, that's according to the Sumner County Sheriff's Office. The sheriff told us he briefly met with the investigators this afternoon. They've reportedly interested in researching some of the areas around Sebastian's home. In the days immediately after Sebastian went missing, search crews covered miles and miles of land, but repeated searches didn't turn up any new leads. The search took investigators as far as a landfill in southern Kentucky, where the trash in Sebastian's neighborhood reportedly goes after it's picked up. That search also turned up nothing. Now, Sebastian's father, Seth, has launched searches himself, going as far as West Tennessee. He told us today he's doing everything he can to find his son. Haley.
So there they are, and he officially has 2 that police are confirming are working with him to the news media. Now, like I said, we have heard in the beginning, I want to say that he had 4 that he was discussing things with. Does not mean that they're all paid private investigators. They could be volunteering their time. Does not mean that they all actually speak with police. He could still have 4 that have offered their services, but there is at least 2 now that are confirmed to be working with the police. The other thing is there is the Uvalde Foundation. Oh, let me see if I can find. Let me see if I can find the actual post. There it is. Okay, so the Uvalde Foundation for Kids is also another foundation type thing. I'm not sure what type of background they have other than advocacy, search and rescue, things like that. I don't know if they have investigators, quote unquote, that works with them also. But I have seen advocacy groups in the past have connections like things like that. And so this could honestly be a foundation that is assisting Seth, that, you know, maybe he thought at one point they were investigators, but really they're just a nonprofit youth organization. But it says our foundation today has literally been contacted by hundreds of individuals via messages and emails concerning Sebastian Rogers. Our efforts to locate him and our recent release in this regard. While we are not law enforcement or associated with their investigators, our stance as an advocacy group on potential culpability remains, and the foundation's work and focused on finding Sebastian continues. Unfortunately, we cannot provide any further details at this time so as to not compromise law enforcement and now additional private progressing investigation. Now an additional private progressing investigation. Details aside, we are attempting to respond as promptly as able to individual emails. Outside of any law enforcement or direct officials associated with this case, we will not entertain inquiries from private investigators nor conspiracy theorists. The serious focus on locating this young man. We are confident that answers will be provided in the near future. Now, they have previously posted that they did pull teams from Tennessee to send to Alaska in order to hang flyers and search that area there. And so that tells me that there is at least some semblance of question to, could Sebastian have actually gone with the Proudfoots to Alaska? Is that a possibility? I mean, we're really sitting here where every single thing is still on the table and we still have no answers. And so I just wanted to bring up Madalena and share her face and share the questions in her case are so similar to the questions in Sebastian's. The only difference is Madalena's case, the parents were immediately uncooperative to the point where police had to arrest them. Now, my question is, they have said that Katie Proudfoot and Seth Rogers have been cooperative. They have not indicated that they have been uncooperative at all. But does that mean that they've necessarily been truthful with every single aspect of everything? I don't know. I don't know. Again, more questions than answers. You say no to Alaska, and I know there's a lot of people who are saying that there's no possibility, but it just we still can't take anything off the table. Absolutely anything. Any option that leaves Sebastian in a situation where he is alive and well and has the ability to come home safely, I am willing to consider at this point. That's where my mind is at. So I was also going to talk about Elijah Vu. I do have him in the title, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you guys over to the stream with Lokamai and I. We're going to be going live in 2 minutes, and we are going to be discussing Elijah's case. For those of you guys who are interested, please come over. We're also going to be discussing the murdered moms and the Caleb Harris, as well as a missing child in Hawaii. And so I'd really, really appreciate you guys coming over. And this live should automatically link you to Lokamai's live, which is awesome. You shouldn't even have to click a button. So if you do, here's the link. Let me get this for you. And if it does auto redirect you, make sure that you hit the like button there as well, because it's going to be a whole new live. It is. It's very sad. You saw a post that suggested that he was was abducted by aliens. It's also stupid. It's stupid, but at the same time, Seal, we were in a situation where, what do you believe? How do you believe anything? Because at this point, we don't know who's telling the truth. We don't know where the answers lie. We are getting portaled, folks. That's exactly it. Hold on tight. Chad Daybell style. It's going to open up the portal, and I will see you guys there. Love you guys, and we'll discuss more in just a moment. Have a good day.